Hey guys, and welcome to the new part of the uFrame tutorial. This one is number 7 and I got a new stuff here. I got this enemy rocket, which is kinda fancy because it uses cosine for the movement. Also I got this enemy rocket explosion. And as you have already guessed, we're going to make our enemies fire. But to make this come true, let's first introduce some sort of a health for our platform. We already have this property called health. Let's set it to 100 by default. And let's go to our platform element. And we got this hit command which kind of suits us pretty much. So let's go to the code. And let's go first to our controller. Override the heat handler and subtract some health. For now, we can just stick to some constant number, but anytime you want, you can introduce an argument here. So let me subtract some health. For example, 10. Also, I want some sort of a state for my platform. And let it be platform state. I'll add new enum. And I think again I'll do something like alive, dying and dead, just in case I will want to introduce some sort of a dying effect. I'll link those and hit save and compile. In the next version of uFrame, we will probably see so-called dependent properties. So, for example, this platform state heavily depends on your health, and what we want to do is automatically set platform state when we calculate the health. But for now, we have to go to our controller and do something like if platform health is less or equal to 0, we want to set platform state to dying. And also I will add a new command called died right here. Hit save and compile. And I will override this one and set my platform state to dead. So now we got a whole new set of entry points to introduce effects and some additional logic. Finally, to make things function properly, let's go to platform view, or let's first go to our element diagram and introduce bindings for the platform view. So we want our bindings to work on both views, I hope. So we could make some sort of GUI effects, but for now let's stick to our main platform view, which represents this guy moving around, and add a new binding to platform state. So what I want to do is I want to reload my project, and I got this binding here, and every time my state changes to something like dead or dying, I guess, I want to send a command died. So here is our entry point for the dying effect, and we can be very creative here. Let me also remove those comments. So now I can start the game, and I see my platform right here, and I got this hit command which subtracts some health, and when I reach 0 I'm dead. Now let's make our enemy fire the rocket prefabs. So I will go to my element designer, to the enemy element, and I will introduce a new state here called firing state. And notice that enemy firing is not controlled from the environment, but it's controlled from the logic. So I don't need any commands, I think. Let me create an enum. Actually, no, I think I will just stick to the boolean. And hit save and compile. And I will go ahead and add a bind in here. Now I can go to my view, add a new setting here, public game object enemy rocket prefab, and I got this binding is fire changed. So I will create a new coroutine here, called fire, and while my enemy is firing is on, I'm going to create some sort of a chance variable here. Let me create it right here. This will represent a chance of our enemy to fire in this particular frame. And I will not introduce any kind of fire rate here, but instead my chances will be low, so I hope I won't get 2 shots in one frame, or 2 shots in 2 consequent frames. So every iteration our chance will be updated with the new random number. And the minimum will be 0 and the maximum will be 1. And I don't want this to be int. And if my chance is something less than this, I'm going to launch rocket. So now I guess I have to add some sort of a gun point to my enemy. So let's go to our scene, turn on the enemy prefab. There we go. And I will create another game object, which will be a child of the enemy. and this is going to be my gun point. I'm going to rotate it so that the up vector, the local up vector, is down there, and this one will be gun point 1, and there will be another one on the other side called gun point 2. Now on my enemy I will introduce an array of gun points so I can take those and place them in the array and hit apply for the enemy. Finally, I can go to my launch rocket method, and for each of my gun points I'm going to first instantiate a prefab. Let me actually copy the stuff from the platform. So I got this launch rocket here. And go to enemy view. And I just need to change this. And I need to place enemy rocket prefab here. Finally, when my is firing is changed to true, I'm going to start a coroutine called, or let's call the method directly called fire. And one more thing we have to do is to ignore collision between our rocket and the enemy itself. So let's do something like physics2d dot ignore collision, and I want to give my rocket collider and the enemy collider. Oh yeah, I see. This is so bad they don't have shortcut for this. So I got everything set up. I got my rocket prefab set to enemy rocket, and I got my gun point set up as well. So let's see what happens when I start firing. My enemy will start producing some shots. Maybe I should decrease the chance a bit because it's too much. And let me check its firing and hit apply and test many enemies as well. And I think I have turned off my collider, so that is why I don't have a collision bug. So if I hit start right now, those upper enemies will hit the others below them. To fix this, let's take our enemy rocket and our enemy and change their lure to hostile. Yes, and children too. I think it will, yeah, it will update all the existing objects of this type. So now I can go to my project settings, to the physics 2D, and disable hostile. Oh, I already have this set up. Okay, so let's see if it works. Start. And yeah, pretty much. Now we don't have a collision between enemies and their bullets. So let me decrease the chance a bit in our enemy view. I got my fire curtain, and I will make 10 times less shots. So yeah, this is pretty much how you can adjust the difficulty of your game. Whoa, crap. So now let's make our platform get some hits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce another collider on this one. This is going to be box 2D collider. Not box collider, but box 2D collider. And not on the root object, but on the platform base. Sorry. I'm a bit sleepy today. Collider 2D. There we go. So let's make this one polygon collider. So now we got this nicely aligned stuff, but there is a little bug. If you attach the collider, for some reason the platform appears a bit broken. So let me introduce a little fix right away. I will set this disabled at the beginning and hit apply. Then I will go to my platform view, and on my start or awake method, I guess. Let me try the awake method. I'm going to get my component from my base. Platform base. Get component collider 2D. I want to set this enabled. And nope, it doesn't work. Let me set this to trigger. Nope. Okay, let me do it on start, I guess. Pay attention to basing locations, they're important. And not yet. But if I do a new method, okay, let it be public void hack collider, and I will invoke this one. After half a second when the game starts. Please work. Oh yeah, now it works. Awesome. And let me see if I get the bullet here as well. Yeah, I do. Awesome. So finally, in our platform view, let's copy this stuff from the enemy. So if we got rocket launcher, or enemy rocket, I mean, script attached to the colliding object, I'm going to execute hit. Oh yeah, and now I got this collision problem. So let's first cache this guy. Actually, no, I don't want to waste time for this. I'll just do, when I launch my rocket, I'm going to ignore collision. Physics 2D, ignore collision between my platform base and the rocket stuff. Let's see if it works. Pretty much. But now we got another problem. Our collision events are not being handled, and our health is not subtracted. This is happening because we got our onTriggerEnter right on the root object, which doesn't have a collider and it doesn't have a rigid body. We got plenty of ways how we can fix this. Let's use another view component called platform base, for example, and link this to the platform. There we go. So now if we hit save and compile, a new script will be generated which we can place on the platform base, and we can take our onTrigger handler from our platform script or platform view script and move it to the platform base. And also we have to move our... Actually no, we don't have to move anything. That's cool. So we got this setting on the platform where we can assign the platform base. And yeah, this is kind of bad, I think. I think we should get some sort of a warning here. Oh yeah. Let me rename this really quick. So I got this property here. I will change its name to platform base rigid body 2D, for example. And I hope it only touches the scope of this script. If we let it compile, we got this rigid body. Let's set this one and hit apply. Oh, I see. We also have to link this view to the platform base. And hit apply. Oh yeah, now it works. Now we got some sort of a damage system. Cool. Finally, in our platform controller, let's override. Actually, we have already overridden the dite command. Let's also invoke our Pinky Alliance game controller. Game over. And in our Pinky Aliens game controller, let's do something like subscribe, or no, let's just use the start game method to set our Pinky Aliens game.player state. Let's set health to 100. And again in the platform controller, let's do something like just to play with commands and subscriptions. Let's do subscribe to property and mention the source here and the property itself. Health changed. Rename this to platform and this one to health. We can do something like if health is less or equal to 0 or is greater than 0. Yeah, I'm going to set my platform state to alive, else I'm going to set my platform state to dying. So now we can remove this redundant calculations here, and this is some sort of computed properties simulation. Now we hit play and do initial start. We see our health being subtracted, and once we reach 0, the game sort of resets. So this pretty much concludes the beginner's part of the uFrame tutorial, and it's definitely going to be the last one I do on the fly, because coding and recording the tutorial at the same time is a very tough task, as I have to face with a lot of Unity issues as well, and that's why tutorial becomes a bit messy. And starting from the advanced series, I'm going to plan my tutorials very carefully. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.